Many of us start the day with a ringing alarm clock, a big cup of coffee, and a quick check of our email. But if you analyze the morning habits of very successful people, that's exactly what they don't do. One thing which separates high achievers from regular people is intention. Meaning, if you get up every day and just coast wherever events and situations take you, you're going to end up somewhere other than the ideal place. To reach your utmost potential, you need to steer your own path via daily habits which prime you for success. I didn't wake up early, hustle 16 hours a day, or follow a lot of the conventional advice. Instead, I just did these 5 things. And if I could impart any wisdom to young men, this would be it. 1. Learn who you are. Before you worry about anything else, learn who you are. I know this sounds a little bit cliche, but it really isn't. I don't mean that you need to find yourself. I mean that you need to silence the noise and the mental clutter until you can figure out who you really are at your core. What are your goals and dreams? What is your learning style? What are you naturally good at? What do you suck at? What do you love to do? What do you hate? What are your biggest weaknesses? What are your biggest strengths? Take some time to really figure out who you are and how you operate. Take personality tests. Figure out your learning style. Learn about cognitive biases and mental traps that you might fall into. When you know who you are, everything else becomes easier. We all share the same DNA, but the 1% variance between us and other human beings leads to huge changes in how we live our lives. So know yourself and life will open up to you. 2. Stop thinking. Let me explain. You decide you want to start running at 6 a.m. every morning. You are excited to finally make the decision and can't wait to get up in the morning to go for your first run. You wake up with the alarm at 5:45 a.m. And now you do the most dreadful of things. You know you shouldn't do it, but you do it anyway. Habit. Oh, the devil, the good old enemy. You start to think, oh, I should probably sleep a little more. It's 5:45 a.m. and I have to go for a run at 6 a.m. anyway. Oh, I slept a little late last night, and if I don't get enough sleep I won't be able to function at work today. The weather is kinda cold. I can go for a run in the evening anyway. I will compensate for today and run twice the miles tomorrow. You think, and you rationalize. You sugarcoat your excuses with rationality and logic. It makes you feel good about yourself. It creates a facade that it is somehow best not to do what you decided must be done. The internal dialogue is draining, time-consuming, and leads to inaction. How many times has it happened that you decided something and didn't follow through? How many times did you rationalize your inactions and indecisions? Let's say in an alternate reality. You made the decision and after that, you stopped thinking. You wake up with the alarm at 5:45 a.m. You put your shoes on and get out of the house for the run. The end. Stop thinking. Start doing. 3. Learn to cut off toxic people. I wish I knew that it was okay to cut people off. I used to think I had to be friends with everybody all the time. In high school, I thought that this was the most important thing and I always felt like everyone had to like me. Sort of carried that mentality into my first year of undergraduate. It resulted in me having a shit ton of acquaintances and maybe 1-2 friends, but not really. We're in this period of time where we feel guilt when we choose to cut someone off, but the truth is that some relationships need to die, and some people need to be unfollowed and defriended. We're not supposed to be bound to the people in our past. I think we're allowed to and should be selective with whom we surround ourselves. For me, this mindset resulted in fewer coffee catch-ups and more time with like-minded people. It meant that I stopped trying to please everyone by saying yes to every offer to hang out. It meant that I begin to deliver each no with respect and humbleness to save my time and energy for the people whom I actually like being around. I no longer have a go-to-friend circle. Instead, I find myself hanging out with different groups of friends and can confidently say, I'm really happy about where I am right now. Here's why. I know exactly why I hang out with these people. Had you asked me in high school why I was friends with so-and-so, I would have not been able to give a good answer. I think I wanted friends for the sake of having friends. I can wholeheartedly tell you I'm friends with the people today because they hold me to a higher standard than I hold myself, and by being around them, I desire to learn more, adventure more, and am encouraged to pursue more. I value my friends' mentalities over anything. I don't look for people who have similar hobbies or things in common. Moreover, it's rare that I meet people who share the same interests as me, like public speaking, distance running, and waking up early. I am attracted to people with healthy mentalities, people who stay curious, passionate, and most of all, true to themselves. I don't vibe well with people who aren't hungry and authentic. I can be transparent and expect transparency in return. Do you know what sucks? When you tell someone about the shit you're going through and they respond with what they think you want to hear, with all that sucks, and man, I'm sorry. I don't need that. Actually, no one needs that. What you need is brutal honesty and accountability. My closest friends are my #1 cheerleaders as well as my biggest critics. I'm confident they want me to be successful. And they have a pattern of telling the truth, even when it's difficult for me to hear. Real connection with another person makes me happy, but it also means that you have to let some people go. We all know that whom you surround yourself with has huge consequences. It is 100% okay to cut out the bad apples in your life, and I have been on both sides of this, the one letting go and the one to have gotten let go. Relationships are everything. You can take responsibility for having them with the people who you genuinely like, because come on now, life is too short for believing you're not up for the challenge. Just as we deceive ourselves into believing something will make us happier than it will, we also deceive ourselves into believing something will be harder than it will. The longer you procrastinate or avoid doing something, the more painful it becomes. However, once you take action, the discomfort is far less severe than you imagined. Even to extremely difficult things, humans adapt. I recently sat on a plane with a lady who has 17 kids. Yes, you read that correctly. After having 8 of her own, she and her husband felt inspired to foster 4 siblings, whom they later adopted. A few years later, they took on another 5 foster siblings, whom they also adopted. Of course, the initial shock to the system impacted her entire family, but they're handling it. And believe it or not, you could handle it too if you had to. The problem with dread and fear is that it holds people back from taking on big challenges. What you will find, no matter how big or small the challenge, is that you will adapt to it. When you consciously adapt to enormous stress, you evolve. 5. Pursuing happiness. There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. Most people believe they must first have something like money, time, or love before they can do something like traveling the world, writing a book, starting a business, or having a romantic relationship that will ultimately allow them to be something like happy, peaceful, content, motivated, or in love. Paradoxically, this have-to-be paradigm must actually be reversed for you to experience happiness, success, or anything else you desire. 1. Be whatever state of mind it is you want to be: happy, compassionate, peaceful, wise, or loving. 2. You can start doing things from this space of being, and almost immediately, what you are doing will bring you the items you want to have. 3. You attract what you are. If you want the things happy people have, you must be happy to get those things. If you want things wealthy people have, you must be in life wealthy to have those things. Results translate from attitudes and behaviors, not the other way around. 6. They are self-disciplined. The one habit that guarantees all the others is self-discipline. Your ability to discipline yourself, master yourself, and control yourself is the most important single quality that you can develop as a person. The habit of self-discipline goes hand in hand with success in every area of life. Every one of these habits can be developed. You are where you are and what you are today because of your habits. Your habits have been developing, mostly accidentally, from the time you were an infant. Today you can take complete control over the shaping of your character and personality, and everything that happens to you in the future by making the decision right now to find the definition of the habits that will lead you to great success. And when you develop the same good habits possessed by other successful people, you will enjoy having success in common. Your future will become unlimited.